7 Things You Can't Say About China, Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, I don't usually associate you with Hollywood and issues, but this time it actually crossed over. And it really matters, doesn't it?
Yeah, Brian, I think it's a perfect example of the kind of influence China has infiltrated into our society, our business, our government. The book title, 7 Things You Can't Say About China, one of the reasons it's hard to say certain things is because of that influence and leverage that China has here. And in Hollywood, it's maybe most acute. As you said, there has not been a major movie with a Chinese villain since 1997 and the crackdown on 7 years in Tibet. Just think about it. When was the last time you saw a movie with the Chinese bad guy? That's because all those studios need access to the very large, lucrative Chinese movie market. But it doesn't stop there either, Brian. Think about the major news networks in this country. Aside from this one, Fox News, every network is owned by or affiliated with one of those studios. ABC and Disney, CBS and Paramount, NBC, MSNBC by Comcast Universal, and CNN and Warner Brothers. Do you really expect them to report fully and fairly on China the way Fox News does? I don't.
It's absolutely not true. So another thing is it just associated well with TikTok. Why does it matter? That's another way to get the next generation of Americans to get that news feed so they never see anything positive about Taiwan, all positive about China, and make sure that their points of view are subtly pushed forward. That's the danger, and that's why it's got to be sold.
Yeah, Brian, that's the difference between TikTok and any other social media app, none of which are perfect, obviously. TikTok is under the thumb of communist China. So that's why your data security is so dangerously at risk. Even if you're a kid, kids grow up to be adults and work in law enforcement, in the military, and the intelligence community, in sensitive industrial positions.
Right.
But also the content they're exposed to now. It's much worse than what you see on American social media apps about drugs, violence, eating disorders, even glamorizing suicide. And of course, there's the communist propaganda. Don't go on TikTok and expect to hear about Christian persecution in China or Taiwan or Hong Kong or Tibet, just like the new DeepSeek AI search engine from China. What you will find is more Chinese communist propaganda promoting China, in addition to other kind of content that's dividing our society, like the anti-Semitism that is awash on TikTok.
And in your book, these are subtle ways of attacking America, but they also talk about how to attack America. They are building up a military to fight us. Here's an excerpt for those people who think religion matters in every society. How about this? President Xi has intensified the party's anti-Christian crusade in recent years, you write in your book, banning kids from attending church, eliminating Sunday schools, requiring school children to sign pledges to remain an atheist. A clear attempt to wipe out Christianity from the next generation. The party also banned online retailers from selling the Bible, torn down thousands of crosses, demolished untold growing number of churches, and party members have forced Christians to replace images of Jesus and Mary with portraits of President Xi and local communist bosses. I can go on. This is how farcical and how maniacal these people are. Not the people of China, but the government.
Yeah, Brian, I think it's important to remember that the Chinese people are the first and the worst victims of Chinese communism going back 100 years. I think many Americans are surprised to learn that China is one of the largest Christian nations in the world, up to 100 million Christians there, and they all face persecution. They all face various kinds of threats and intimidation, and China is trying to wipe out Christianity in the next generation. It's just one more example of the kind of sins and crimes that China commits against its own people, as well as the aggression against America.
And lastly, some good news. Really coincides with Secretary of Defense Hegseth. Recruiting is now up, and really you can go back to President Trump winning the election. It's now something cool to be in the military again. They've changed the imaging, and people are running. The stats show it. Does it surprise you?
No, I think it's a clear Trump effect after the election. Recruiting started going up. I think Secretary Hegseth is prioritizing recruiting as well. I think we're going to continue to see this, and we're going to see a military that is rebuilt after 4 years of neglect by Joe Biden.
You know, the Army already has got 65% of their goal. The Navy's through the roof, and the Marines have always hit their numbers. You're an Army guy, I know. But it's just good news that people still care about the country. Thanks so much, and congratulations on the success of the book. Senator Tom Cotton, appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.